So, how do you tread the line between showing just enough and hiding just enough? Well, that really depends on the kind of game you want to make. The simple answer is, if it doesn't specifically need to be shown or told, it's fine to keep it secretive. However, if it's impactful to the story that the player needs to know, it should be included. If you're playing a game that began in the zombie apocalypse, is it really important to reveal how the apocalypse started? No, unless it directly affects the story. It's not important. All that matters is, you're in a zombie apocalypse. Find a way to survive. How it happened? Unimportant. All that matters? Survive. However, is revealing how the infection spreads necessary? Most likely. If the virus spreads through, let's say, dead meat, then it's clear to the player that even if they don't get bitten, they can't exactly go hunting or fishing for meat because, hey, once you kill a piece of meat, it becomes dead meat and it may be infected. This information is revealed to you earlier on in the game and you know that meat is infected. You cannot eat any fresh meat. However, later on in the game, your camp is running low on supplies. Apart from a few scraps, all the food is gone. Sooner or later, everyone in your camp is going to starve and die. And when they die, they become dead meat, which means they become infected and come back. The only option you have at that part in the game is to risk your life infiltrating a mega mall with a supermarket in it. The only problem is, the mega mall is surrounded and overrun with infected. But because of that, the supermarket is supposedly still stocked with supplies. Unfortunately, once you do manage to make your way inside the supermarket, you find out it's already been scavenged. Most of the supplies are all gone. However, most of the canned meat, still there. You check the expiration date. They were canned a few months before the first reported case of the outbreak. You as the player now have a choice. You can take the cans back to camp. There are enough cans there to feed the entire camp for weeks, maybe even a month. But it's canned meat. What if it's infected? What if even if it wasn't infected while it's canned, what if once you open it to the air, it gets infected? Alternatively, you try taking home the safe scraps you found. You know they're safe, they don't contain any meat. But there's barely any. It's just scraps. There's enough for a few days, maybe if it's rationed, and it won't be enough for everyone in the camp. Regardless of what choice you end up making, you end up back at camp. But before dinner, your player gets dragged away on another mission. Your mission takes you a week, but when you do return, you've been given bags of rice. Enough to survive for multiple weeks, and enough to feed the entire camp. It's fantastic. The only problem is, when you do return, the camp's destroyed. Everyone's gone. When given the choice, did you bring back the meat? Was that what did it? Did you infect your entire camp? Did you kill all your friends and family? All the survivors, everyone you loved? Was it the meat? Or did you leave the meat? Did infighting begin over the scraps? Did people kill each other? Was it starvation? Did people die of the hunger and come back and attack people? Or hell, maybe it had nothing to do with the food at all. Maybe someone else just got infected and brought it back to the camp and died and reanimated and attacked the entire camp. Perhaps another camp of survivors just happened to come across yours and ransacked it, stealing all the supplies for their own survival. Maybe a stray horde just happened to show up a few days after you left. Maybe it came from the mega mall. Maybe you alerted them. Maybe it was your fault. Maybe it's not. You don't know. Were all your friends killed or did they make it out? There's clear blood and struggle here. There has been a fight. People have been injured. But was it your people? You don't know. And that's the point. Regardless of what choice you made, whether you chose to bring the meat back or not, the camp still fell. But you don't know why. How it happened is unanswered. All that's clear is the camp has fallen. And it's up to each player to come to conclusion as to how it happened. Was it the canned meat? Was it starvation? Was it a horde? Was it survivors? Was it infighting? That's up to each player to decide. Perhaps the meat was perfectly fine. Perhaps you doomed your entire camp by not bringing it back. Perhaps it was infected and you doomed your entire camp by bringing it back. Perhaps it didn't matter what choice you made. Even if the meat was safe and you had brought it back, the other camp was still coming. They would have still attacked and everyone still would have died. You don't know. Maybe it was the other camp. Maybe it wasn't. this is what I mean by unknown factors.